US court has charged 4 Russians and a Ukrainian with stealing huge amounts of credit card numbers. They're suspected of hacking into the computers of major retailers, payment processors and banks, which resulted in hundreds of millions of dollars in losses. RT's Andrew Blake is joining me live now to talk more on this from the States. Andrew, this has already been dubbed the biggest cybercrime spree in history. Just how big was this?
Well, there's a reason they're calling it one of the biggest cybercrimes in U.S. history, and the numbers kind of speak for themselves. So we had 5 guys, 4 Russian nationals and 1 Ukrainian man, who over the course of around 7 years were able to penetrate a number of the networks of leading financial institutions, banks, all sorts of systems where very important information was being stored. Now, over the course for several years, those men broke into the databases, allegedly, took sensitive information, then in turn put them on the internet, sold them for a profit, and were able to make money off of other people's money. And in the end, U.S. prosecutors now say that those 5 men were able to compromise roughly 160 million credit cards, causing upwards of $300 million in damage.
Steve Merrifield owns a high-end sporting goods shop. After 27 years in business, he'd been preparing to sell it.
So it's very hard, it's completely stable.
All the records for potential buyers stored on his computer server. So Merrifield was more than concerned when he realized all of his data had been frozen.
The last words I remember is, "This is not good. This is not good."
It turned out hackers had taken control of his machine and flashed a message. For $3,000, Merrifield could have his data back. But it didn't stop there. He'd have to fork over an additional $1,000 for each week he didn't comply. He'd become a victim of what's being called ransomware.
Had you ever heard the term ransomware before?
No, and I can say that it's appropriately named. You feel victimized, you feel helpless.
Ransomware is becoming so pervasive that it prompted the FBI to put out a warning. The Bureau says it's getting dozens of complaints each day.
It's one of the more destructive pieces of malware because, they'll encrypt those files, and if you don't pay, they can just delete them.
Bruce Snell of the computer security firm McAfee says the hackers use such sophisticated methods that it's virtually impossible to recover your data. It's believed most are operating overseas, so tracking them down has become futile as well. One reason some apparently fall for the scam is the messages look like they're from the government, accusing users of things like child pornography.
It frightens people and kind of preys on their fear.
In retrospect, the amount of grief that this will cause us would have been well worth the ransom, but that wasn't the approach we took.
Steve Merrifield never did pay the ransom, nor did he get his data back, even after taking his computer to some of the best experts in the industry.
Heads up for you tonight about an email scam that has some people in the area on edge.
It's scary because the email claims to be from the IRS, and it tells taxpayers to fill out their personal information to get access to their tax refund. As Fox 11's Lindsay Veramis explains, it's a scam the agency is taking seriously.
Jerry Daverveld uses email all the time, but never expected to see the Internal Revenue Service in her inbox.
And I opened it and I read it. Something's not right here.
The email told her she was eligible for a tax refund of $397.50. It then asked her to fill out an attached form to access the refund. It requested her social security number, credit card information, and her debit PIN number. Daverveld said it looked official and even had the IRS logo.
face of growing cyber attacks, many from China, President Obama recently signed an executive order to improve cybersecurity.
We cannot look back years from now and wonder why we did nothing in the face of real threats to our security and our economy.
Hi, my name's Megan, and I was a victim of cybercrime. I was sitting at my desk at work one day and, sitting with my laptop doing some research, and something popped up on my screen and it said it was a warning from the FBI. I was a little scared, didn't know what it was, and suddenly there was a flash and they actually took a picture of my face at the moment sitting at my desk. So on the screen there was my face and then a federal warning explaining that I'd been looking up child abuse and pornography. What scared me the most was the fact that my computer was completely locked up. I could not click, I couldn't escape, I couldn't turn it off, I couldn't shut it down, I couldn't do anything at all because of this virus, which I was obviously unaware of. So I tried to click, and then I saw a small little paragraph at the bottom that said to relieve the virus, I could pay money. So they wanted a ransom from me. They wanted about, I believe it was $250, and they gave me a process of how I could do it. I had to go somewhere and get a certain card and pay it off. And if I did this, then the virus would be clear,